beautiful temple sisters and maybe temple brothers. Beautiful co-aliens. What a privilege, what an honor to be speaking to you today about my path with Tantra. Welcome to this life that is opening up the conversation around Tantra because I felt so clear in my body to offer this masterclass, a glimpse into Tantra for you, so that you can feel why I'm offering this, what I mean by Tantra. Maybe you already have an opinion or a knowledge around it. I wanted to offer today my path with Tantra, my story, and let you in. Welcome, 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 temple sisters, maybe temple brothers, co-aliens. I'm so happy to be able to talk to you in this way. So grateful that we have this thing called internet. Okay, let's dive into it. So again, there is going to be an actual masterclass around this, and the reason being is I need this focused time and space to really be able to dive deep into what Tantra really, truly, originally means, and especially to me, and the ways you can explore Tantra and especially polarities for you, but also, of course, in your relationships, especially your romantic partnerships, or partnerships, or, any kind of love bonds, love encounters, your love life, right? So however your situation is. Okay, so today, this is kind of like a pre-masterclass Instagram live to share about my path. And if you already have questions, you can put them in here. Just so you know, though, I want to really keep the space clean in terms of, offering my story and my path. And then in the masterclass itself, I'm really going to dive deep into the content. And the reason for that, because I always want to give all I have, it's not to hold anything back, but the reason is I want it centered, I want it clear, I want the whole thing focused, so because I also really love clarity and give you clarity. So here we are, let's go. All right, so Tantra, right? If I sometimes say I work with Tantra, I know, and sometimes I even get the reaction still, that people think this means this is about group sex, or it's about men and women touching each other, or like retreats in this way, or the first thought goes there for many people. I understand this because, first of all, this is kind of how it's known, but it's also how it is misused. And not to say that is, at all wrong if you choose to do so, right? Like, everyone's free. Everyone's got to do their thing, but judging it in this way, right? I think that's saying it's all that Tantra is, because it's not. It's not, there's so much to the world of Tantra, and I want to pull you in how this all started. So here we go. We're speaking 2019, when I was already doing this business in German language, for 1 or 2 years, really. And I had this huge thing that I didn't really feel my femininity. I had always pains around my menstruation, so that premenstrual pain that it's called, right? Or even menstrual pain. It was horrible for me. I, back then, didn't like to have sex. I always felt like this is something you have to do. I didn't feel lust in my body, and that also was because I was very conditioned, and without any blame, it's just how I was conditioned, how I came to understand me in this world as such a people pleaser. So for me, it felt safe, and I also felt mostly loved by assuming how people needed me to be, by either entertaining and being the fun one, or being like the nice girl, right? The good girl. And so for me, it was always like, assuming that and trying to act on that, and not in holding back pleasure, holding back any kind of emotion, right? It's not only pleasure that you hold back, it's also pain. Or when you hold back pain, you also hold back pleasure, right? So there's always the flip side to what you hold back to, or you hold back on. And so back then, and that was even before 2019, right? But back then, because I was in the relationship with my husband, with my soulmate, we've been in a relationship for 14 years now, 14 years. So when we were in the relationship like for 1 or 2 years, it started happening that in my body I felt, well, I'm not going to be able to escape sex all this time, or escape, even not escape sex, but escape looking deeper why I don't like it, or why I want it to be a fast thing, or why I feel like it's something I have to do for the man, right? I really had to, or started to look deeper into what this was about for me. And I started this goddess journey for me. I started really educating myself on femininity, on sexuality. I tried so many things and learned so much about all these things, because again, I didn't feel lust in my body. Sex was something that hurt for me. It wasn't pleasure for me. And then also linking to femininity, my menstruation also always hurt. So when it became a topic, of course, when I'm longer in a relationship, you're longer in a relationship, it becomes a pressing topic, right? I really had to look there. And so I started looking there, and I started to read books, educate myself, like I said. And so I put into YouTube, I don't even remember what it was, but how to enjoy sex or whatever. And, of course, quite a few videos might come up. I don't know what comes up today, but back then, a beautiful Tantra teacher came up, and her name is Sofia Sondari. And I watched her videos. I was immediately drawn. I got a few online courses by her, and I went to my first offline retreat in 2019 in Bali with her. And I really back then really was able to experience Tantra in a very original way, because of the way she educated on it, but also of the way I was able to experience what I experienced. The wild woman archetype on this retreat that we experienced in a practice, I felt like I was born again. I felt like I have never felt this part in me ever before that ever. I was like, wow, I can feel this way. What is this magic, right? But what this magic is breath, allowing yourself in a safe space, opening a space, intentional, and exploring that space. With breath, with intention, and depending on the practice, it might be another element of touch or of, something else, but that's it, right? So this was my start, and I was so enchanted by what I felt during that retreat that I've never felt before. I felt real hope. I've not just hope. I felt a real belief that I could learn how to love sex, that I could learn how to really be turned on in my body. I really felt I can do this now. And before that, I kind of felt sometimes like, I don't know how I tried so much already. I read so much already. I don't know how. And so I educated more and more and more myself on this. Also worked more with Sofia Sondari and more Tantra teachers. Well, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe women in the online space, but never men. It just never felt right to learn womanhood from a man. Just, not, and no disgrace to men. I respect men deeply. I respect us all deeply. But just womanhood I wanted to learn from women. It just felt right in my body, right? So that I did. I read books around this, and I really, really, really explored this deeply in my body. So much so that I had huge breakthroughs. And there came other parts to this, like working with connection with the divine, working with the divine, channeling, tools. Let me just say tools. Like the Akashic Chronic Records, or the Theta Healing, right? So methods like this, where I was able to really look at my limiting beliefs, change them energetically. So all the toolboxes, all the things, all the tools that I have today, that I even teach today in my training, that's currently only German, but we can change all the things. I'm very quick in delivering things and creating things. So it's all possible. It's all there. You know, you can always let me know too what you want to learn from me, because I will be able to give it to be in service, you know, this way. So, and that was my beginning, and it wasn't quite the breakthrough yet before I also learned around the energetics of being able to change limiting beliefs, like I just said with the tools, for example. But it was the package of it all, and especially my deepening of Tantra. So then, and you know, it's 2023 now, so it's been 4 years where I really dove deeper and deeper and deeper into how this is most healing for me. Because as healing as it was, and as freeing as it was already, you know, to dive into the world of Tantra and learn about my body, the feminine being, feminine energetics, polarities, the feminine and the masculine, especially represented by Shiva and Shakti in the tantric worlds, which are less around, and here I'm going to give you a little content piece already, which are less around how we call it, you know, feminine and masculine traits, or yin and yang traits that we all have, right? It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, we all have these sides to us and these parts in us. So in here we say, right, feminine and masculine. We say, for example, surrender and control, or light and dark. Light, this is the masculine, okay? Light and dark. Moon and sun. We say healing and, you know, thinking differently, right? Or healing, thinking, feeling, or descension, transcension, right? So we have these traits, contrary traits, that, you know, get to come together. They get to find, you know, how they are actually one together. But what I love so much about the concept in Tantra with Shiva and Shakti is that it's less about Shiva as the contrary to Shakti in, right, the way of how I explain it just with the traits, but it's more around Shiva is the one who holds the space for all there is. Shiva is empty without Shakti. Shiva is the space that needs to be filled, but it's nothing without the space that fills it, right? It's the room. It's the date that we made to be here on Instagram. It's the platform. And then Shakti is all there is, all life force, all energy. And Shakti is the one making it come alive. And I love so much this concept because it's beyond a contrary thing, or like contrary traits, or even, you know, traits that can come together and be married or understood as one, of course, not even making it something separate, but still. Rather than saying Shiva is what holds space to Shakti, and Shiva feels alive through Shakti, right? And Shakti can only express as much as Shiva is available. So say I wouldn't have told you I go live today, you could have still come, right? But the way I informed you before, you could have put it in your calendar, right? So the way I tell you before what I'm going to speak about lets you prepare for that. That's Shiva for me, in me, right? Like the Shiva is the clarity. It's the space holding. And then Shakti gets to come in that space and fill it, or enjoy it, or take from it, or receive it, right? Whatever part she plays in it, in the Shiva Shakti meeting, basically. And so I really dove deep into these topics and explored Tantra for me, and really made it my own, because as much as I appreciate also the mentor that I spoke about, or, wherever I learned more about this, it never quite resonated 100% right, I would say, in my body, because it always felt I still needed to transcend more. I needed to bypass more. I needed to do certain practices to get there, to heal, to be able to feel something or a certain thing. And that never quite set right in my body, because to me, truly, what feels true is that there's nothing you have to do in order to get anywhere, because it's all available inside. And it might not be available in this moment because there's trauma above it that doesn't allow you to feel everything. Doesn't allow you to feel gratitude. For example, I couldn't feel gratitude until 2021 or 2022. You know, I think it was 2021. I could not feel gratitude. I could not. Like, I couldn't feel it in my body. I could grasp it. I could try to say, I'm grateful for this. Obviously, I can mentally grasp that I'm grateful for this and that, of course. But I couldn't feel it in my body because there was so much trauma above the capability to feel gratitude that I couldn't feel it. Because what trauma does, if it's not integrated, it suppresses all kinds of emotions, right? And all kinds of possibilities for you to feel, which another content piece, if you don't know yet, the reason why I couldn't feel lust, I couldn't feel turned on, and the reason why I had pains when having sex, it wasn't around my partner, it wasn't around the man with me. Like, they were respectful, they were all the things. It was around the trauma that was stored in my feminine body, the trauma around also my story of the people-pleasing girl. Like, it's not safe to feel what I need, and then of course it's not safe to express what I need because I don't even let myself feel what I need. So how would I express it if I don't even feel it, if I don't even go there where I honor what I could need or need, right? So what the body does, if you go over it, if you don't look at your needs, especially your body needs, especially these sensitive parts of you, it shuts down. It becomes numb. And that's also often what happens with the pieces of you where trauma is stored, because it's a stuck emotion, it's a stuck energy, and the more it's stuck, it gets compounded into numbness, into freeze. I'm just using the words, I'm not a trauma I'm trauma informed. I know so much about trauma, I know so much about trauma integration, I know all the things that help, but I'm not a psychologist or doctor or whatever, right? So I'm always sharing my perspective, my knowledge, but most of all my embodiment, because I'm a 3-line human design 3-5 manifestor. So I'm always going to share and initiate and inform around what I embody and what I found works best, especially for me, right? And then you can see how it resonates for you to be in my space. Obviously, this is how this works. So where were we? Yeah. So it already helped me so much to be in this world of Tantra, but I often felt like, I got invited to do this practice or that practice, or I should just do this, but it felt forcing. It felt like I had to bypass a part of me again that was blocking certain practices, or that wasn't resonating with certain practices. And so I felt into even more of the feminine way in this. Like, how is this path that I truly resonate with, that truly reminds me, that truly gives me tools and a concept and a structure that, gives me safety and helps me navigate trauma and healing and energies in my body, and how I want to feel and how I can activate pleasure and really liking being in my body, and ultimately liking being alive this way, right? So that transcends just being my body, because your body truly is where you are always. So it's not just how I feel my body, it's how I feel. It's how I feel every day, today, always, right? And so I really dove deep into how does this feel right to me? How does this feel right to my feminine body? How is healing not a masculine concept thing, because it is feminine, right? It is a feminine thing, a yin thing, to heal, to go really deep, to descend into the underworld of our patterns and maybe trauma. So to me it was around, okay, how can we extract this meaning of healing that means I have to be better, I have to be more, I have to work harder, I have to try more, I have to just dare to do this or that, what anyone would, suggest, but instead understand healing is integration, right? Healing is understanding I am whole, you are whole. Now, this is very important. Please listen to this part. This is, again, another content piece, transmission piece. You are whole. You come to this earth whole, and you are whole now. You are whole. So when we speak about healing, it cannot be about you wanting to become whole because you already are. What it can be about is that there's trauma stored in your body, that there's patterns that you got used to doing or being, right? Like taking on, that you've experienced quite some conditioning, and that it's time to unlearn these things, rewire the brain, the nervous system, and become more who we came here to be. So that's you being you, right? So if I got your chart, your human design chart, for example, I'm not an expert, but I, at this point, know so much about it that I could tell you so much about you, when I see your chart, for example. And you, how you are. So healing is more about unlearning, deconditioning, and remembering how we are loving being alive. How we are remembering our wholeness that is already there. So I've started saying more, instead of healing, I started saying more integration, right? We integrate wounds, we integrate trauma. But there's really nothing we're having to become because we already are that. It's just we're letting it come to the forefront. We're really embodying it. We're giving it space. We're learning to feel safe with all of us. And so Tantra is really then, after all of what I told you before now in this life, become a self-explorative path for me. With every practice that I did with myself at home, that I did with my partner, with every retreat that I offered, and I started also offering retreats 2019, and then every year I at least did one retreat, one women Tantra retreat. And so with every year it became more, I strengthened my path with Tantra, my way with it, which is so feminine, because it is. Because what I want to say too, one content piece around Tantra too, is like many other paths, for example, like yoga, it is there for us to, go into the direction or the way of enlightenment. But other than, for example, yoga or other path or concepts in this world, or it's not around transcending your emotions, your body, your humanness. It's about descending. It's about descending into the human body, into the emotions, or with the emotions, not even into them, right? Because we're not making them mean more than they are, because they are not actually meaning anything, but that it's now safe for you to feel them, because else they wouldn't come up. And what is happening? Stored stuff in your body is moving. And that means what couldn't be integrated fully when, like, a trauma, for example, happened, can now fully be integrated, or partly because something comes up for you to feel. So you're actually able to feel something that you weren't able to feel before because it's now safe. So the only meaning that I give something that I feel is that I am healing in this moment, because I am giving space to my body to move this emotion through me. Now if it's very intense or very deep or like a new trigger thing, I still know it's old stuff. I still know it's something old that is triggered, or I'm not feeling safe in the moment, right? If you don't feel safe, then of course you can feel activated, your heart is pounding, for example, and then it's important to tend to your safety. Now I want to deepen this in the masterclass too, because we have these parts inside, as I said before, femininity, masculinity, Shiva and Shakti and Shiva. So whenever there's no safety outside, then it's even more important that I cultivate that safety inside. So my inner man, my inner masculinity gives a safety to my inner woman, my inner femininity. Of course I don't teach Black Tantra. No. What are my thoughts around it? My thoughts around, okay, so the question is, what are your thoughts about Black Tantra, and do you teach it too? Of course not, because I feel like very clearly that's misusing power, and I do not use power. I do not. I don't have power over you, and I'm not going to try to, and I don't do that. it's not an integrity, and there's no feeling in my body whatsoever to use that kind of power, teach around that. To me, I do teach white and red Tantra, and I will explain these concepts, of course, very clearly in the masterclass. We're going to start there. What is Tantra? What is it really? What are, all the things. I'm going to explain these things so you know about it, about that, and about them. But no, of course not. Of course not. And then in this world, of course, we have a misuse of everything, because there's shadow in this world. We have a 3D world, which is special too, because in this way we get to experience deep emotions and deep scenarios of projecting this world into this world, and we all do that together, right? It's a co-creation every day. And with all that love and light that is here in 3D, we have the flip side, which is all that we can see in the world, right? Especially, all that we can see. And then when we look into Tantra, then of course we have people misusing their power and using Black Tantra and using it in a let's just say violent way, right? But that happens with anything in this world. It happens with anything in this world. And I think what's just most important is what we do with it, right? So I can always look into, how can I work in most integrity? How can I be in most integrity? How am I in my full power? And in my full power means I'm fully in my power, in love. I feel my heart. I feel right in my body. And I see you in your full power. I do not ever feel I have power over you. I can hold you with all that you bring, always. Like, I can really, really go deep, so deep with you, because I've gone to all the depth of me that have presented themselves so far, of course, right? But I can hold you in all of it and give you safety, because I know that is going to allow you to heal the deepest you can when you are with me, say. But I'm never going to misuse my power. Never, ever. Of course not. Yeah. All right. Let me see if there's one more piece that's wanting to come through. I think we'll almost have it already, because the rest I really want to do focused, compounded, starting with the content of what Tantra really truly is and how I understand it in the masterclass on, is it this Friday? Well, it's very upcoming. You can still register in the through the link in my bio or story, of course, if you haven't yet. And you can also still get the bundle of all the 4 masterclasses that are happening if you want to learn from me in English. Let's see. Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to say. I really found a way for me to not only, find this path and attract this path and feel so reminded, so remembered, so hopeful, so, okay, I can do this and I will do this, and I did, but also finding my access and my way of it, so it feels very feminine, very true, very deep, in a way of not having to bypass anything at all, because I never feel that bypassing helps. Of course, it's good to activate your consciousness. It's good to, if it helps you to meditate, or, to choose a better feeling thought, if that is available to you in a moment. But most of the time, the emotion just really wants to flow through whatever it is, and it just needs our assistance to hold ourselves safe and create safe spaces, and safe spaces to let the energy move through. And there I found my own way and my own access to Tantra that is very, very feminine. It's transcension through descension, and it's really saying yes to all the parts of you in the now. It's saying yes to your wholeness that is already here, but it's also saying yes to everything that you feel right now. It's saying yes to the anger, it's saying yes to sadness, it's saying yes to judgment, it's saying yes to this problem that you have with your partner, or with your colleague, or with your friend, or with your mom or stepmom or mother-in-law, whoever, right? And it's saying yes to life. It's not necessarily saying yes to what you make it mean, because that's in your head, and that's in your way of controlling what you're feeling and the sensations, truly. Because do you get me here? Because what I want to really say, and also give you in the end of this right now as a content piece too, is we have what we feel in the moment. So what is that really? We think it's a feeling. We say it's sadness coming through, it's anger coming through. And then if we want to make it worse, we let it mean something mean about ourselves and we judge it, right? We judge us. We say, I'm mad, it's not okay, I shouldn't feel this way, or I feel sad and I don't like how I feel sad and this day is ruined and stuff like that. Now, my invitation is for you to not only go back to what it truly is, the feeling of like sadness, anger, whatever, but even the sensation. Because when you are truly looking at what you are feeling in a moment, what is happening in your body, you're not even able to say, you are able to say, but you are not even needing, you don't even need to say, I'm mad, I'm sad, blah, blah. You could say, you can speak about the sensation in your body. Now, the sensation in your body, I'm just going to explain this if this is new for you, is going to be something like, it's really hot in my belly. It feels like a ball in my belly, like a heat ball, and it hurts right under my belly button. And then what I always offer, I want to offer this for you too for free here, right? So nice. Kidding. Well, not. Is to really go there to the sensation, maybe name it in 1, 2, 3 words or word groups, and to say from 0 to 10, how intense is this sensation in my body? Oof, it's an 8. It's quite intense. And then you stay. So you are Shiva for what is happening for you in your body, which is Shakti. You stay. You stay with that emotion, with that sensation. If you are consciously staying with that sensation, that is healing, because emotion gets to flow. Energy, emotion, right? Emotion. Rather than making it mean something, mean about you, and then compounding the intensity of the feeling, but not really supporting the feeling of the sensations in your body, right? So that's just one piece of so many that I found so helpful in the ways of Tantra, in understanding and learning about Shiva and Shakti, so masculinity and femininity inside of all of us. But then also the second part to this, learning as a woman how to apply this to romantic relationships, but also any kind of relationships and any kind of areas of life, roles that you embody, rooms that you are in, right? Depending on how you have co-created your life. But then also the very feminine way of navigating emotions, as I already gave you like a little glimpse into already here, sensations, and even bigger stuff like trauma coming up, trauma responses, but also then how much of it do I consciously co-create by like controlling or acting, and then on the other hand surrendering and allowing life in. So let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening or watching this live, or when you watch it later. If there's an aha moment you had, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what really landed for you. Let me know if there's a question. Let me know if there's a wish for you, from you that you wish for me to speak on or teach on. There's all the possibilities. I can speak in the broadcast channel as an like give you an audio transmission. I can go live again. I can write a post. I can do another product, another masterclass, or deeper program. Like, we have all the possibilities, right? So let me know how I can serve you best. I want to be in contact with you. I want to know, so let me know. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this already served, and even when I spoke about my, story or ways with Tantra, I hope this was inspiring or helpful in any way to you. And then, of course, if you want to really, really, really get a full picture and learn really a lot about Tantra too, get a full picture, but also, of course, many ways to embody your femininity, your inner marriage, that strength, but also softness of you, then I invite you into my Tantra Masterclass. And of course, the bundle if this calls you. So thank you so much. Sending you all the love. Looking forward to seeing you again if you choose so.